Hi, everyone. I'm Shankar Nair, and I'm the TA for the Inotiv Data Mine group. This group has been working on a job search tool. Here's the team. We have Jillian, Lola, Haotang, Sanjay, Yiru, Adrian, Ashley, and Koa. It's been an exciting team with a lot of finance and business analytics backgrounds, and I'll let the group take it forward.
Our agenda today will run through the 8 slides that I have mentioned to the right. First is the abstract and background, second, web scraping, third, understanding key information, four, data cleaning, five, visualizations using Power BI, six, findings and current state, seven, limitations and future goals, and eight, conclusion. So for the abstract and background, we are doing our presentation over Inotiv, which is a company that provides drug development and enhanced research solutions. And they use various professional platforms to acquire their top talent. And so what we're trying to do in this project is to find, compile, and produce a report showing all HR positions open within job boards across different platforms. So the goals of this project are to conduct research and analytics on these job postings. We want to analyze variables that maximize the engagement that they have with their audience using the job applications. And then we want to find and compile a report that shows all open positions.
We identified four main steps to our web scraping process. To start, we began with first identifying what sources and what criteria we actually wanted to extract from the data. Then we wrote code in Python to help identify and match specified criteria and load all of the data that we got from that into a dictionary. Then we used a plugin tool to find additional criteria and to add them to the code, and we further extracted that data. And then to wrap it up, we just formatted the data and ensured its accuracy and exported those into an Excel spreadsheet.
Okay, so I will share with you my approach for coding. So the goal is to use a modified link to launch into a website. In this case, it is the Indeed website. Uh, in order to do so, I tried Request and Selenium web browser, but when I use Request, it gave me a 403 code, which means that the server understood my request but couldn't authorize me to do it. So that's why the code here mostly contain Selenium web browser, and use Beautiful Soup for parsing and analyzing the HTML code. Basically, what I did was I find that each of the job card was located in a TD tag that has a class called result content. So I created a list of those elements. And on the left panel of the code here, I wrote two functions to locate the important informations based on the attributes or ID or class and tag, such as the job title, company locations, and the original link. So this is the function that I will use in my for loop later. In the middle here, in the middle part, was the way I deal with pagination. Pagination, it's like when websites try to distribute the data across many pages, because if it put everything on one page, it will look like a mess and it is not as neat. So that's why I created a code here to clicking on the previous and next button in order to go to the last page and load all the data that we need to have. And then here on the right side, I just go to my collected link in order to collect additional data if I want. For example, I collect some posted date, and this is my result. There are some important variables such as the ID. Notice that the ID here is unique in terms of Indeed's website only. It is not consistent between the IDs posted on LinkedIn and the career website. And the description link variable is very important as well, because if you only need to add Indeed.com before the href link here, it will lead you to the original site in which you can check to verify our collected data.
So now we have the steps for data cleaning. So since most of the steps are pretty self-explanatory and pretty simple, I will kind of go over the bigger picture behind our data cleaning process. So in order to get as much data as possible, we looked at LinkedIn, which had a lot of information about location data and pretty much anything else that wasn't salary data. The problem was salary data was a little bit lacking in the LinkedIn web scrape. So in order to get that information, we had to look elsewhere. So we decided to web scrape Indeed as well. And it turns out that there were a lot of jobs there that had accurate salary data, but didn't have as much data in other departments. So in order to make sure the jobs matched up, we did some VLOOKUPs, we did some conditional formatting, all these sorts of things in order to make sure that it all lined up exactly such that one job in LinkedIn is equal to the same job that is found in Indeed. And although there were some incongruencies, we were able to match them for the most part, such that we can make good visuals with good location data and good data from Indeed salary as well.
The next part is about understanding the data. Before performing the data cleaning, there are 5 questions we have to focus on in order to fully understand our data. Who is our audience? What variables are included in the data? What variables are not? What statistical analysis techniques should we apply? What's the most effective way to compile our data? And what's the overall goal of this tool? Our audience will mainly be the HR team and executives in the company. And we do notice some missing variables, such as the salary and the job ID for each posted job. The statistical analysis techniques we used are descriptive statistics, which are brief informational coefficients that summarize a given data set, which can be either a representation of the entire population or a sample of a population. For example, the mean, median, mode, standard deviation, and variances are all descriptive statistics. The best way to compile our data is through web scraping, and then use Power BI and Excel to perform analysis. The overall goal of the data and data analysis is to provide Inotiv with a clear picture of all available job postings.
I'll go over the Power BI dashboard and the visuals. The first visual is a box and whisker plot, and this was used to analyze trends within median salary by seniority level. Our Power BI dashboard is focused on user interaction within each of these job postings, and also what Inotiv is looking for in these applicants. In the bar chart, we see that a majority of the jobs focus on production, administrative roles, also research and science. Our donut chart looks more at the position type, and we see that a majority of all jobs are full-time. In terms of experience level or position type, we see that a majority are entry level, but there are also higher level jobs. There are 3 director jobs, and there are mid to senior level management. There are 29. In terms of the 85 job postings, there is an average of 8 applicants per and 104 views. Lastly, we added a gradient map of US job openings, and this allows us to see which states Inotiv is currently hiring in, along with the number of job openings. You'll notice that a majority of the jobs are in Indiana, and this makes sense since Inotiv's headquarters are in Indianapolis. To go over the current state of our data, the preliminary analysis of the data was created. Our next steps involve getting internal salary data to fill in gaps, since our current gaps are filled with market averages. And we'd like to develop a consistent job ID, since this is not the case currently between different job posting boards. Our Power BI dashboards also lack backdoor access to raw data. Implementing this would allow our corporate partner to understand the visuals and make modifications where appropriate. And lastly, the data lacks further geographic analysis. We are currently focused only on the US, but since Inotiv has international job postings, we can further implement this.
In our project, we find the data size contains many black cells, which affect the visualization and analysis of data when trying to include location, revenue, and rating. Second, revenue is a tax range rather than physical number, which can be altered. Data is qualitative, making it difficult to create Power BI dashboards. Last is, no data or resources are included, which can make a big impact. However, our project continues. In the future, we will apply our understanding of job market to later portion of the project. We will be collecting data at several job sets, and we will consider analyzing additional data that will be provided to the team, which will enhance the model. We will add additional columns of information to the dataset.
So in conclusion, with this data set, this will allow Inotiv to focus more on the data cleaning and visualization skills because we were able to acquire all the information and compile it. It also allows us to simulate upcoming experiences and tasks when we acquire real data. So in real time, we can upload the information and have everything up to date. And we also need to work on web scraping and data gathering and making sure that our analysis is aligned with Inotiv's demand. Some references are that we use the Power BI tutorial and the Purdue Data Mine Symposium.